It was actually a daily struggle um, to live on the streets. There's a big gap between the rich and the poor. If I, in my life, ever will get a chance to do something, then I will create my own orphanage. And luckily, I got this opportunity. I was just a child of 4, 5, 6 years. I don't know exactly the age, because in Bangladesh we don't have any registration, so it's difficult to say. But because we are from a very poor family, um, and one day I was very hungry. We didn't have anything to eat, and then at night I ate the rice, what was left over for the next morning, actually for breakfast. But I woke up and ate it myself, and because I was afraid of my father, I just ran away from home. And yeah, then at that time my days as street child started because of this, and I've been living on the street about 2 years, and it was actually a daily struggle um, to live on the streets, and just to be also on the roads, sleeping on the roads, on the harbor, everywhere where you came, and just trying to survive. It's just by begging, by stealing. There were lots of ways to get food, polishing shoes for people. One other way of making money actually was going to the toilet just in front of the shop, and then going back early in the next morning, and then say whether you could clean it yourself, and then you got money for it. So lots of ways to earn money. In Bangladesh, I was in Dhaka at the harbor. I was approached by a man from an orphan home, and he asked me whether I wanted to go with him. And some of my friends told me that, yo, you have to say that you don't have any family, then he will take you, and then you will go to a rich country, because my friends already knew this. So I told them exactly what he wanted to know. The date 22nd of June 1977, I was adopted by a Dutch family, and that is the day that I came to Holland. At the airport, I saw the first in my life, I saw an escalator and stairways and these kind of things. So it was amazing to see this. Later on, when I got in the car, it was the first time in my life that I sat in a car, and I got lots of toys from my family. It was amazing. It was fantastic. Yeah. I knew that my family was, when I left them, they were alive. So it was just to see whether I could find them again, my biological family. It was after 17 years, yeah. And I went back with my wife, and we have been sourcing all over the Borshal area. Finally, my brother, he came in the Hotel Paradise in Borshal where we stayed. He told some amazing things that only my family members could know. And then he said also that my elder brother is living in Dhaka. He showed us the house of my elder brother. It was actually not a house, because he was living in the slums. So it was just some tin sheet with against the wall, where he was living with his children and his wife. The next morning, we met my mother in Hotel Paradise. She was a very old lady who was very sick. She had no strength in her body actually, and we had full treatment for her in the hotel. Because of finding my family there, I started an organization, a foundation, charity. with this charity we are collecting money, donating money. We get donations from all over the world actually, and with this money we are helping not only the family, because that is initially how it started, but now we are helping more than 100,000 people in Bangladesh. Everything in the first period did not, it was a big mess actually, but we just I'm a little bit stubborn person, so we just continued and stayed and learned from our mistakes. That's what we did, learn from our mistakes, and that is by just continuing and keeping and believing in what we were doing. We just saw that what were the really things what succeeded in the first period, and that was the sanitation, water and sanitation part, and that became our core business, to help the people, and that is still one of the major projects we are doing still now. It had an immense impact on the area, because already within a few years we could see that diarrhea has been decreased, that less children were dying of diarrhea. So this was a very good impact, and that is why we still are doing this. In Bangladesh, we got when we started, we got some statistics from the government that about 240,000 children died. That's only under the age of 5. So what there's above, there's no statistics about those. So still there might be lots of people more than that who died of water-related illnesses, like diarrhea, cholera, and these kind of things. Of course, Bangladesh has lots of hospitals, but what is there, it's not sufficient enough, because we have an immense population. You know, nowadays it might be 145 million people. We have just hospital for the basic treatment. What we can do is just some small stool test, blood test. We have 2 doctors. We are just seeing mainly women and children, but also the general patients. I wanted to show also the people that by maintaining some standards, by maintaining some hygiene, that you could be on a little bit better standard, and that is what we try to realize with the donors from Holland as well. Yeah. It's not really complicated if you have all the facilities, if you have the funds for it, but some of the problems what we face, of course, is keeping the good doctors there, because you have to create facilities for the doctors, because nobody wants to live in a remote area. So it's complicated to keep the doctors there. It is complicated to keep the good nurses there. So if you have these kind of facilities, because I think all depend on people, then of course it's not that difficult. But this is one of the things what you have to arrange first. The orphanage what I started was actually my dream as from when I was a child, because I was in an orphanage myself, and then I thought that okay, if I in my life ever will get a chance to do something, then I will create my own orphanage, because I had a good time there and I knew how they treated the people there, and this was a very good period in my life. That's why I said I want to start something like this, and luckily I got this opportunity by founding this organization, but also by getting the right donors at the right time, and that is how my dream came true. These kids are amazing. They I've been living with them, of course, in many years, because I've been working in Bangladesh 9 years myself. And then we were just exchanging our stories, that what did I do when I was a street child, and how they ended up in the street, how they ended up as an orphan. So we had lots of stories to tell each other, and that's what created a real close emotional relationship with them as well. So they trust you fully, and what they express themselves. Oh, if we have this chance, what you got, we also want to create something like this. So they also wanted to or work for such an institution, or they want to set up something, or they want to help other people. So they have also already these kind of dreams, and that is yeah, really nice to see. We have in Bangladesh really quite some good schools, I would say, but the standard and the level of education is not that good. They don't work with the new approaches like we do in Western countries nowadays. So I don't know. I think if the education system stays like this, I don't know how many years it will take before they can really improve. But the other hand, there are lots of, for the rich people in Bangladesh, there are lots of private university schools where really the level is much even higher than here in Europe. There's a big gap between the rich and the poor, and I think this gap is nowadays getting bigger and bigger in Bangladesh, and that is a situation what is really worrying.